The smear merchants in the mainstream media are attacking one of the Alberta blockade busters as a white supremacist vigilante. We're helping him fight back, and we need your help to do it.
Chase, you didn't tell me what kind of beer you like, so you're drinking my brand. This case of beer, I mean, it's a 15-pack of beer, not sponsored by Pilsner, but I'm sure each one of those beers in there represents the gratitude of thousands of people all across the country.
That guy there is Chomey. He's a good guy. He's an unemployed Class 1 driver. He's got a similar story to so many hardworking people in Alberta hit by the artificial NDP Liberal-created recession in oil and gas. And when Chase found out that radical environmentalists were organizing a blockade of a rail line west of Edmonton as part of the ongoing rail blockades across the entire country, organized by foreign actors to block the Coastal GasLink pipeline in northern British Columbia, entirely against the will of the 20 out of 20 democratically elected First Nations bands in the region, Chase did something about it. He went down there to the blockade site all by himself. And there he met up with a bunch of other guys he didn't know who had the same idea. These are guys I've now met along the way of this story. There was Lamoreaux, who was assaulted on camera by a protester and had the police on scene do nothing to help him. You can see my interview with Zach and help us bring his attacker to some sort of justice because the police won't help at cleartheblockades.com. We also met Guy Simpson, another unemployed oil and gas worker, a transplanted Ontarian who's now a proud Albertan, and he was the guy who first took the initiative that day on the tracks to start clearing the sacred protest garbage and get the trains moving. Because of these three guys and a few others who helped, that blockade, unlike others that have lasted weeks in the rest of the country, only lasted about 8 hours, and another one hasn't popped up in Alberta since. And since then, the personal attacks and smears on these fellows for just standing up for the rule of law have been absolutely relentless. I know Chase has had his address leaked online. Guy has had his reputation attacked by nameless, faceless keyboard warriors who have no idea the kind of guy he really is. And Zach, well, remember, he was assaulted and the police were just too busy sitting in their cars, babysitting anemic, trespassing, privileged environmentalists to care or do anything. But there is a difference between anonymous online losers saying dumb things and the mainstream media publishing it. And this is where Chase now needs our help after he helped all of us. Look at this story from Macleans, tweeted out by a journalist, the one who penned it, a woman named Shannon Gormley. My latest for Macleans on how white supremacist vigilantes may surface around Canada's pipeline blockade. And look whose image they use to portray the supposed uptick in white supremacy. Well, it's Chase Chomey in his red hat. Now, within the article, things get even worse. Look at this. Canada should prepare to confront a surge in white supremacist vigilantes. But as Canada copes with a rail system shut down by Indigenous protesters, it faces a heightened risk that a band of racist bully boys will designate themselves the nation's hall monitors of vital infrastructure. The researchers identified these conditions in vigilantism against migrants and minorities last year, with the blockades already exciting violent fantasies on far-right online chat boards. It seems wise to consider how they might apply to Canada. Both protesters and far-right vigilantes may have taken the law into their own hands, but come on. The threat posed by white supremacist vigilantism is orders of magnitude worse. Across vastly more regions, vigilantes have turned vastly more people and targeted vastly more vulnerable communities in vastly more brutal manner. But Chase is no white supremacist vigilante or part of a racist band of bully boys. He's none of those things. None of those guys are those things. Chase is just a normal guy who wants the law upheld, and he did it himself when no one else would. But Maclean seems to want the whole country to think that he is all of those bad things and more. As I'm filming this, That tweet is still up, still harming Chase's reputation. Macleans can't do that, and we aren't going to let them. We're helping Chase fight back today. We hired Chase a lawyer, and that lawyer sent this letter. It's a notice of defamation to Maclean's parent company, St. Joseph Print Group. And a similar letter was sent to Shannon Gormley, the journalist who saw fit to call someone she has no knowledge of a white supremacist vigilante just to fit her own agenda. The letter is a little long. Please indulge me as I read through it. The article, which discusses the risk of a surge in white supremacist vigilantes in Canada, was first published on February 25th, 2020. It was accompanied by a photo taken February 19th, 2020, showing Chomey dismantling a piece of the blockade set up by supporters of the Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs at a rail line west of Edmonton. The photograph clearly shows Chomey's face, and he is easily identifiable in the photograph. The article and accompanying photograph has been retweeted or shared on Facebook over 750 times. Juxtaposing Mr. Chomey's picture with the defamatory words of the article clearly implies he is a violent white supremacist vigilante. He is none of those things. The photograph must be taken down immediately wherever you have posted it in association with the article or any other discussion of white supremacy or vigilantism. Your obligation to preserve evidence. By this letter, you are now on notice of pending litigation in the Alberta Court of Queen's Bench, which brings with it certain obligations to preserve all relevant evidence and documents within your possession and control for use by the court in any subsequent legal proceedings that may arise. Now, the letter goes on to ask Macleans to delete their tweets with images of Chase, but only after preserving all the data about the tweet and just how many people saw their hateful attack on a completely innocent man. The letter also asked Macleans to do the same thing with their Facebook post on the story. Preserve the analytics and then delete the lie. Gormley got the same instructions from the lawyers. I'll post those notices of defamation on a special fundraising website we've set up to help our blockade heroes like Chase and like Zach. It's cleartheblockades.com. Now here's where you can help support Chase, who is being defamed for just doing the right thing. His legal fees could be astronomical. Just for context, it cost us about $38,000 to sue Dion Buse after he punched me at the Women's March, just to get a $3,500 settlement. But it was worth every penny to set the record straight about what happened that day. That's why we're doing this here, to set the record straight about who Chase Chomey really is. And I want to be perfectly clear here. We are crowdfunding the legal fees. But whatever Chase wins or whatever settlement he gets, because it's his reputation being damaged, is his entirely. We're just here to help. So if you want to help us, help Chase Chomey fight the fake news smear merchants over at Maclean's, you can do that at cleartheblockades.com. And just like a message was sent to lawless, train-blocking, anti-Canadian losers when Chase helped clear the tracks, let this lawsuit be a message to the mainstream media. I'll speak directly to the fake news media right now. If you think you can use your bullhorn and your bully pulpit to smear and damage the reputations of normal, regular people who are just standing up for the rule of law when our law enforcement and our weak-kneed Prime Minister won't, well, you'll have to answer for it. Maybe you need to hear a judge tell you that you're wrong. And you know what? We're more than glad to help. In fact, I'm thrilled about it. To help us, help Chase, that website again is cleartheblockades.com. One of the men who helped bust up a rail blockade west of Edmonton is being defamed by Maclean's magazine as a white supremacist vigilante. We're not standing for it. To help us help Chase Chomey fight back against the lies and smears of his reputation, please go to cleartheblockades.com.